Let's see how we can use for loops and while loops. Now, in my demo, I'm actually going to be looking for the exact same output in both just to be able to compare and contrast and how you might will use one versus the other. So let's start with our for loop, and we'll say for, and then again name, in, and then people. And by the way, let me get rid of that real quick. And let me put in for, and one more time highlight the little code snippet. So if I hit tab here, target list, and my expression list, so my target is going to be name, my expression is going to be people, and then now my code, I'll just simply say print, and then the name. Cool. And so now, let me just hit escape to get it out of that mode. And then if I say my little py, and then demos.py, and now I get an error message because I don't know how to spell people. That's OK. Let's go ahead and fix that. I should have noticed the green squigglies. And now you'll notice that I'm getting Christopher and Susan there. Let me just put in a real quick print before and after, hopefully just to make that a little bit easier to see. There we go. Voila. So there's Christopher and there's Susan. OK. Now, if I was going to do the exact same thing, so I'm not going to print it out the second time, but do this instead with a while loop, here's how it would look. I'm going to say index equals 0. I'm going to need some form of a counter. And then I'm going to go ahead and say while, and we'll say index is less than the length of people. And I always like to do this. If I'm going to do a while loop, I always like to make sure that I'm putting in the change right away. So I'll go in and say index equals index plus 1. And now let's come back up one level. And now we'll go ahead and say print. And then we'll say people, and then our index. Cool. So there is all of my code there. And now if I run this, now what you're going to notice is I get that exact same output of Christopher and Susan. And so in the end, that for loop and that while loop do the exact same thing. Let me get that uncommented. There we go. So they do the exact same thing. And like I said at the outset, you really can choose either one. For something like this, I personally would prefer using a for loop just because I'm going to miss incrementing index. Guaranteed. So I always try to put that in right away because otherwise I will forget it. But that's how you can do for loops and while loops inside of Python.